Hey everyone! Did you know that a coin worth just 5 cents could actually be worth over $1 million? Sounds like a bad joke, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're talking about the 1989 Mint marked Jefferson nickel, and believe it or not, this little guy could put a hefty chunk of change in your pocket if you've got the right one. Stick around to find out if the nickel in your spare change jar could be hiding a small fortune. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but trust me, this is one nickel you don't want to overlook, so let's dive in. The 1989 Jefferson nickel. At face value, it's just like any other nickel you'll find in your pocket or in your car cup holder. But here's the kicker, certain 1989 Jefferson nickels have been sold for over $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A nickel worth 5 cents, selling for over $1 million. Sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, doesn't it? Now, let me break it down for you. The key to its value is that this isn't just a regular 1989 nickel. Nope. The real treasure is in its unique characteristics, which make it super rare and valuable to collectors. You see, not all 1989 nickels are worth that much, and the ones that are valuable were minted with a mistake that turned out to be a happy accident for the coin's future owners. This mistake involves a major minting error, a rare double die reverse. You're probably thinking, what on earth is a double die reverse? Well, here's the deal. The minting process involves striking the coin with a die. But in this case, something went awry, and the die was struck twice, creating a noticeable double image on the reverse side of the coin. That's the side with Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello, on it. It's kind of like if you took a blurry photo, accidentally double-tapped the screen, and then ended up with a double image. Not exactly clear, but definitely unique. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1989 nickel is one of these $1 million mistakes? Great question. First off, check the reverse side of the nickel. If you spot a doubling effect on Monticello, where you see the outlines of the building looking a bit blurry or overlapping, you might just have a winner on your hands. This error is usually subtle, but once you know what to look for, it's pretty easy to spot. You'll also want to check for other signs of wear and tear. A pristine example can bring in even more money, and here's the fun part, if you've ever found an old coin, you know that excitement you feel when you pull it out of your coin jar? That moment when you think, could this be the one? Well, I remember a time when I found a couple of old nickels from the 80s in my drawer. My heart raced, thinking they might be worth something. Turns out they weren't, but I'll never forget that adrenaline rush. If only I knew back then what I know now about those 1989 nickels. So, what are the odds you have one of these rare coins? Well, like most rare coins, they aren't exactly easy to find. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Coin collectors and hobbyists scour through thousands of nickels looking for just a few with that rare double die reverse. And when one does pop up, it can go for an eye-watering amount of money. The last few of these nickels to hit the market have sold for around $1.1 million, depending on the condition. That's a whole lot of nickels. Now, don't go running to the nearest coin shop just yet. While the 1989 Jefferson nickel is rare, it's also important to make sure it's in the right condition. If you've got a worn-out, scratched-up version, it might not fetch as much. But hey, even if it's worth a couple of $100, that's still way more than the 5 cents you originally thought it was worth, right? So, what should you do if you think you have one of these valuable nickels? First, get it checked out by a professional coin grader or appraiser to confirm if it's the real deal. If you hit the jackpot, you might want to hold on to it for a while and watch its value climb even higher. But if you find out that your coin isn't the lucky one, don't worry. There are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. And trust me, you'll want to keep an eye out for them before you go running through your coin collection or diving into your pockets looking for that elusive $1 million nickel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips and tricks coming your way, helping you spot coins that could make you some serious cash. From pennies to nickels and everything in between, I'll be showing you how to turn your spare change into a small fortune. So, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and who knows, your next big find could be just around the corner. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest value. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket or spare change that made you do a double take, thinking, could this be worth something? Well, if you have a 2014 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel, you might just want to take a closer look because this little nickel could be worth more than you think. Imagine pulling it out of your wallet just to realize it could be worth up to $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Stick around because today, we're diving into why this 2014 D Jefferson nickel is making waves in the coin world, and I'll share some fun stories along the way. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again, alright? So let's get into it. You're probably wondering, what makes this 2014 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel so special? I mean, it's just a regular nickel, right? Well, kind of. While most of us toss our change into jars, and let's be real, sometimes even forget about it for months, there are a few rare coins hiding out there, coins like this 2014 D Jefferson nickel. It might look like your average nickel, but there's a hidden value that can put it in the spotlight. First off, you need to know that the 2014 D Jefferson nickel is part of a set minted in Denver. Now, to understand the value, let's talk about why some coins become worth millions. It usually comes down to rarity, condition, and sometimes, even just a little quirk in the minting process. In the case of the 2014 D Jefferson nickel, the value skyrocketed because a few coins from this batch slipped through the cracks with minting errors. These errors are the ones collectors dream of because they make the coin more unique, and you know what they say, the rarer, the better. One of the key features that can turn a simple 2014 D Jefferson nickel into a gold mine, well, not literally gold, but you get what I mean, is if it has a mistake in its design. A lot of times, these errors happen when there's a slight misalignment or issue with the die that stamps the coin. It could be something as simple as a double strike, a wrong design, or some other random oddity that makes it stand out. It's the perfect example of how a tiny mistake can turn a coin into a valuable treasure, and here's where it gets even juicier. It's not just about having a 2014 D Jefferson nickel. Condition is everything. Just like how a vintage car is worth way more if it's been well maintained, a coin's value increases if it's in pristine condition. If you happen to find a 2014 D Jefferson nickel that's almost flawless, no scratches, no damage, and all the details are sharp, that's when you start getting into the territory of $1.2 million. You might be thinking, but how do I know if my coin is worth that much? Good question. It all comes down to grading now. Grading a coin is like grading homework. If you get a perfect score, your coin's value can skyrocket. The scale goes from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely flawless. A coin with a grade of 65 or higher is considered high quality, and that's where you start seeing prices go through the roof. You can send your coins to a professional grading service to get them evaluated, and if it's in excellent shape, you could be looking at a small fortune. I actually have a funny story about coins and grading. One time, I was going through my change and found a 1970s penny that looked kind of shiny. I thought, hey, maybe it's rare. I took it to a local coin dealer, and he practically burst out laughing. Apparently, it was a pretty standard penny, but the way I had it all shiny from years of pocket wear made it look vintage. He told me to hold on to it, but I learned that sometimes, what seems like a treasure is just a shiny memory. But hey, it still made me appreciate the value of coins more. So, to wrap it up, if you've got a 2014 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel lying around, it's definitely worth checking for any errors or signs of damage-free beauty. Even if it's not the $1 million version, who knows? You might find a coin that's worth way more than you expected. Coins like these are out there, and if you get lucky, you could end up with a true gemmy before you go. Here's the deal: if you love the idea of finding valuable coins and want to learn more about rare ones that could be hiding in your pockets, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll dive into more coins worth big money, share strategies for spotting them, and give you the insider tips you need to start your own coin collecting journey. So, hit that subscribe button, and let's make sure you don't miss out on your next fortune in change. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, the next nickel you find could be a $1.2 million treasure. Keep hunting, and I'll see you next time. So, you've got a bunch of these old nickels lying around your house, right? Maybe in a drawer, or shoved in a coin jar at the back of your closet. Well, guess what? One of those could be worth more than your latest paycheck. Yep, I'm talking about the 1981 P-Mint marked Jefferson nickel, and it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. You heard me right, million. Now, I know what you're thinking: what kind of magic are you talking about, and how do I get my hands on it? Don't worry, I'll explain everything in just a sec. But first, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more crazy coin finds like this one. Alright, let's get into it. So, let's talk about this little nickel. It's not exactly ancient, it's from 1981, but it's still hiding a pretty serious secret. The coin in question is a Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, and it's the 1981 version with the P Mint mark on it. Now, before you run to your coin jar, I have to tell you, not all 1981 P Jefferson nickels are worth a fortune. But there are some very rare, special ones out there that make collectors and investors go absolutely bananas. This bad boy? If you've got one in pristine condition, we're talking about a coin that looks like it just came off the minting press yesterday. You could be looking at a market value of about $1.3 million. Let that sink in for a second. A nickel. That's not a typo, and it's definitely not your average spare change. And this isn't some random theory, there's actually a record of these nickels being sold for insane amounts. So, if you find one, you could be laughing all the way to the bank. Just imagine going to buy a cup of coffee and telling the barista, "Yeah, I just paid for my latte with a nickel worth $1 million." Might just get you a free drink. Now, you're probably wondering, why on earth is a coin from 1981 worth so much money? It's all about rarity and condition. While the mint made millions of these nickels, a few have something special about them, whether it's a rare error, a unique die mark, or a super clean, perfect design. Think of it like a rookie card in baseball. The better condition it is, the more it's worth. But unlike baseball cards, these little nickels didn't get a fancy marketing campaign, so you have to know what you're looking for to find the diamonds in the rough. Most of the 1981 P Jefferson nickels you'll come across are, well, not looking so hot. They've got scratches, discoloration, or just general wear and tear. But if you can get your hands on one that's graded a 66 or higher, that's when things start to get exciting. The higher the grade, the higher the price tag. So, for those of you out there with magnifying glasses, now might be the time to start examining your nickels. Let me take you back for a minute. A few years ago, I found a pile of old coins at a yard sale. You know the type, just a jar of mixed change for like $5. I picked it up thinking, hey, maybe I'll find some cool old pennies or dimes. But the real gold mine was in those Jefferson nickels. I had no idea at the time that the 1981 P could be worth so much. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I'm Googling like crazy, researching which ones are rare, and bam, there it was, a listing for a perfect condition 1981 P nickel going for over $1 million. My mind was blown. Now, I didn't find the $1 million coin, but I learned a pretty valuable lesson: always keep an eye out for those specific dates and mint marks. You'd be surprised at what could be hiding in those old coin jars. So, next time you stumble upon a stash of nickels, check for the P Mint mark on the 1981 coins. If it's in great shape, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Alright, so there you have it, the 1981 P Jefferson nickel, potentially worth $1.3 million if it's in perfect condition. If you find one, get it graded, and who knows, you could be the next big coin collector on the block. So, the moral of the story is, always check your change. Because sometimes, that random nickel you've got in your pocket might be the one that changes your life. But hey, even if you don't strike it rich, coins like these are a fun hobby. And the best part? They don't require a degree in economics or a treasure map to find. Just a bit of knowledge, a little patience, and a whole lot of luck. So if you want to keep learning about rare coins and how to find ones worth big money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got more tips, stories, and maybe even a few more $1 million finds coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. See you in the next video. We're diving into a truly exciting topic, the 1996 P Mint mark Jefferson nickel. Now, you might be thinking, a nickel? Worth how much? But trust me when I say, this nickel is no ordinary 5-cent coin. We're talking about a coin that's currently valued at an astonishing $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million. Now, before you rush to your coin jar and start flipping through your old nickels, hold up. Because there's a bit more to the story. So, grab your snacks, sit back, and let's explore why this little piece of change might just be worth more than a new car, a vacation, or even a down payment on a house. Alright, first things first. If you've ever found a coin that made you think, wow, this could be worth something, then you're in the right place. But the 1996 Jefferson nickel didn't just show up overnight as a $1,000,000 treasure. It has a bit of a backstory, and it's all about its rarity, and a little mistake that happened during its production. The 1996 nickel is famous because of a unique error. You see, the mint produced this particular nickel with an unusual die flaw. This flaw caused the coin to have a double-struck image, which essentially means that the coin was struck twice, but slightly off-center during the process. This gives it a distinctive appearance that makes it stand out from all the other Jefferson nickels made in the same year. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, so it's a little messed up. But is that really enough to make it worth $1,000,000? The answer is, yep, pretty much. You see, with this die error, the coin became a super rare find. In fact, it's estimated that only a handful of these coins exist in circulation today, which drives its value through the roof. But don't get too excited just yet, not every 1996 nickel is worth $1.4 million. So, how do you know if the one you have could be worth a fortune? Well, first, you need to make sure it's the right kind of error coin. It's all about that double strike. And let me tell you, if you do find one of these rare coins, it's not like they just show up in your pocket after a trip to the grocery store. No. You're likely to find this kind of coin through diligent searching, whether you're going through rolls of nickels, checking your change after buying coffee, or even hunting through your old coin collection. I can tell you, I've had a few "I think I've found a gold mine" moments. Like the time I thought I had found a rare 1964 penny. Long story short, it turned out to be a well-worn coin with a really bad case of oxidation. But that's the beauty of coin collecting, you never know when you might stumble upon something valuable. And sometimes, it's just about being in the right place at the right time. Or, in my case, being at a yard sale in my neighborhood. Speaking of that, I was once going through an old collection of coins I bought at a yard sale. I was sure I'd found something worth something, but after careful inspection, I realized it was just a bunch of coins with tarnish and no errors. Talk about disappointment. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? Sometimes, it's just as much about the adventure as the potential payday. Back to the 1996 nickel, though, it's a reminder of how rare and unpredictable the world of coin collecting can be. You can go your whole life without finding a coin worth that much, but then bam, one day you find something that could change your financial future. But here's the thing, finding a coin like this isn't easy. It's all about knowledge, timing, and a bit of luck. And if you think this is the only coin worth millions, you're in for a treat, because there are so many other coins hiding in plain sight. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on those. So, let's recap. The 1996 mint marked Jefferson nickel is worth a ton of money, $1.4 million, to be exact, because of a unique error that makes it stand out. The key takeaway here is that rarity is everything. You've got to keep your eyes peeled, know what to look for, and be patient. Whether you're hunting through rolls of coins, digging through your childhood piggy bank, or checking out old coin collections at yard sales, there's always a chance to find a rare treasure that could be worth a fortune. Now, before you run off to search through all your change, I've got one final nugget of advice for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Seriously, if you want more tips, tricks, and hidden gems about coins that could make you a millionaire, you've got to stay tuned. I'll be sharing more strategies on how to spot valuable coins, the stories behind them, and everything you need to know to get into the world of coin collecting. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment below telling me what crazy coin you found. Maybe it's a 1996 nickel. Maybe it's something else. Either way, we'll all be here talking about coins worth money, and I can't wait to share more of these cool discoveries with you. Alright, fellow coin hunters, gather round, because today we're diving into a nickel that's worth a small fortune, literally. I'm talking about the 1988 mint marked Jefferson nickel, which could have you cashing in big time with a value of $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. But how? Why? And how can you find one of these beauties? Stick around, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn everything you need to know about this rare gem, and who knows, maybe you'll even find one in your coin jar at home. Yes, it's that possible. Now, let's talk about what makes this nickel so special. First things first, it's the 1988 mint marked Jefferson nickel, which was minted in Philadelphia. But before you start digging through every change jar you've got, there's something important you need to know. It's not just any 1988 nickel. No, this one has a rare error that boosts its value to mind-blowing levels. See this little guy? It's not just the usual 5 cents. There was a production hiccup back in 1988 that caused some of the coins to be struck incorrectly, resulting in a double die error. This means that part of the design was struck twice, which gives it a unique and unmistakable look. Now, you may think, who cares about a little flaw? But let me tell you, this is the kind of thing that makes collectors go wild. In fact, it's worth over $1.5 million in the right condition. So, what makes this particular nickel worth $1 million? Well, for starters, it's the rarity factor. Most coins are worth face value. After all, you can't exactly retire on a bunch of nickels, right? But with the 1988 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, that error is what makes it stand out like a unicorn in a field of horses. Because there are so few of these error coins in circulation, and they were minted nearly 40 years ago, they become incredibly scarce. Think about it. The odds of finding one are about as good as stumbling upon a forgotten stash of rare trading cards in your grandmother's attic. And hey, if you've ever found a coin with an unusual mark or a scratch and thought, well, that's a bummer, now you know, sometimes those imperfections could actually be a goldmine. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, but how do I know if I've got one? Well, here's the fun part. Spotting these rare nickels isn't all that difficult, but you need to keep your eyes peeled. First, you'll want to look for that famous double die error. This typically shows up around the word Liberty or In God We Trust. The letters will have a kind of double impression. If you see it, stop everything, because you might have a collector's dream on your hands. Also, check for a clear, strong P Mint mark on the reverse side, under the Monticello building. The P stands for Philadelphia, and that's the mint where this error happened. If you find one with the P Mint mark, make sure to check for that double die error. If it's there, you've got something worth keeping. Okay, confession time. I've been hunting for rare coins for years, and let me tell you, it's not always as glamorous as it sounds. I remember once, I got super excited when I thought I found a rare 1943 copper penny. Yes, I thought I struck gold. But nope, it turned out to be just a regular old penny that looked like it had seen a few too many pockets. I was so disappointed, but hey, it's all part of the hunt, right? The thing is, sometimes we get lucky, and sometimes we don't. But that's why coin hunting is so exciting. And hey, maybe your next find could be worth millions, like this 1988 P Jefferson nickel. Alright, coin collectors, we've covered all the bases when it comes to the 1988 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, and I hope you're as excited as I am to start looking through your change for a potential $1 million coin. Remember, spotting these rare errors is what makes collecting so fun, and with a little luck and some sharp eyes, you could be the next one cashing in on a rare find. Before you go, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss a coin tip again. We're always talking about valuable coins, tips on where to find them, and how to make some serious cash with your collections. So, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and who knows, maybe next time, I'll be sharing your coin hunting success story. Happy hunting, and good luck! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a nickel worth millions of dollars? Is that for real? Well, I promise you, today we're talking about the 2010 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, and yes, this little coin could be worth a whopping $1.60 million. That's right, I said million. And no, I didn't just get hit in the head with a roll of nickels. Stick around, because we're diving deep into how this humble nickel turned into a gold mine, well, silver mine, technically, and how you can spot one that's hiding in your pocket right now. You might just have a future treasure on your hands, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you're ready to discover what other coins could make you a millionaire. Alright, let's get into it, okay, so here's the scoop. The 2010 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that slipped under the radar for a while, but it's making waves in the coin world right now. Most of us think of a nickel as something that'll buy us a stale piece of gum or maybe get us a few arcade tokens. But sometimes, just sometimes, a nickel can be more than that, way more. What makes this particular 2010 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel so special is something called a die variety, fancy term, right? In layman's terms, it means that the coin has a flaw or unique feature in the way it was stamped at the mint, making it incredibly rare and valuable. And now, you're probably thinking, how could I ever know if I have one of these? Well, it's all about the details. You'll want to look at the edges of the coin, the design, and especially any potential minting errors like doubling or a misalignment that make it stand out from the rest. A coin that isn't quite like the others? That's the one you want to grab, but here's the fun part. Let's talk about how I stumbled upon this exact coin myself. Now, before you think I'm some kind of coin genius, let me tell you, I used to be totally clueless. There I was, going through a random jar of loose change, just pulling out the same old quarters, dimes, and nickels. I even tossed a few into the vending machine for some overpriced snacks. But one day, something caught my eye. I pulled out a 2010 D-Mint Mark nickel, and I was about to toss it back into the jar, but I didn't. Something told me to hold on to it. If flash forward a few months, and I'm watching a coin collector on YouTube talking about rare Jefferson nickels, and boom, he mentions the 2010 D-Mint Mark. My heart starts racing. I pull out my nickel, start inspecting it, and I see the slight variations in the design. After a few quick online searches, I was hit with the real value. Let's just say, that jar of nickels went from being a snack fund to my retirement fund. Just kidding. But it was a pretty good day. So, what makes this 2010 D-Mint Mark so rare? Well, there's a specific version of the coin that has a unique feature, a subtle, yet significant, error in the minting process. These coins are typically found in high grades, meaning they're in excellent condition. A coin in mint state could fetch $1.6 million at auction, which is enough to make anyone check their change jar a little more carefully. Here's the kicker: not all 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickels are worth a fortune. It's the coins that have that elusive, rare error that truly stand out. And as we know, finding a coin like this isn't like finding a penny on the sidewalk. It takes some serious luck, or in my case, a little bit of curiosity, but don't get discouraged. Even if you don't find the jackpot, there's still hope for your other coins. There are hundreds of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters out there with potential value. You might not hit the $1.6 million, but who knows? Maybe your change jar is secretly filled with gold, well, metaphorically, at least. Alright, folks, the 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how you can turn a simple coin into a small fortune with a little knowledge and a lot of luck. And you know what? If I can find one, so can you. Keep an eye out for those minting errors, the subtle details, and who knows? Maybe that next handful of change will turn into something much more. But hey, if you want to stay ahead of the game and keep learning about which coins are worth big bucks, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies to spot valuable coins. Because who doesn't love finding treasure, right? Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket and wondered, could this be worth a fortune? Well, if you've got a 1996 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, you might just have a little treasure on your hands, and by little, I mean a whopping $1.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me, because today, we're diving deep into why this humble nickel is worth so much and how you might just stumble across one of these hidden gems. So grab a snack, kick back, and let's dive into this crazy coin story. Alright, so you might be thinking, a nickel? Worth $1.7 million? That sounds like a prank. Trust me, I thought the same when I first heard about it. But here's the deal: the 1996 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel isn't your average pocket change. Now, before you go rummaging through your change jar hoping to strike gold, let's break down why this particular nickel is worth so much. The first thing to understand is rarity. See, the 1996 Jefferson nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, nickels come and go like, well, nickels. But this specific batch? Let's just say they didn't quite make it into the hands of every collector. The reason why this coin is so valuable is due to an incredibly rare error. It's not about the design or how shiny it is. Spoiler alert, it's not that shiny. It's all about how it was struck. Some of these nickels were minted with an unusual die that gives them a slightly off-center appearance, and these error coins are the ones that collectors go crazy for. You know how you're walking down the street, and you spot a penny on the ground? You probably pick it up, or you don't lie. But what if that penny was a rare 1943 copper penny? That's the kind of situation we're talking about here, a coin that shouldn't exist, and when it does, it's worth more than a latte and a donut combined. Same idea with this nickel, except the dollar signs attached are a lot bigger, and now, here's a fun twist, this coin has a pretty hilarious backstory. So, I was out one day running errands, and I noticed a few old coins mixed in with my spare change. Now, I didn't exactly expect to find anything rare, come on, we've all dug through our change and found nothing exciting, right? But one coin caught my eye, it was a 1996 Jefferson nickel, just chilling there. My heart started racing a little. I mean, I'd seen a couple of YouTube videos about rare nickels, so I quickly checked it out. Of course, it wasn't the $1.7 million version, sadly, but the experience of finding a coin that might be valuable was unforgettable. It was like finding the ultimate what-if moment. It's funny because, in a way, finding a rare coin is like being on a treasure hunt, you never know when or where you'll find your next big score. But that doesn't mean we should all go through our wallets frantically searching for this 1996 nickel. It's about understanding the value of these coins when they do show up. So, what makes this coin even more interesting? It's the way these error coins get into the market. Sometimes, a collector or coin dealer will get their hands on one, not realizing its true value, and sell it at a regular price. That's when the savvy buyers swoop in like detectives on a case, scooping up these treasures for pennies on the dollar. And bam, just like that, you've got a nickel worth a fortune. It's also worth noting that not all 1996 Jefferson nickels are valuable. It's only those with the specific die errors that fetch such a high price. That's where you'll need to break out your magnifying glass and carefully inspect your nickels. If it looks off-center or has some unusual markings, you might want to send it off to a professional for authentication. But hey, I know, not everyone's got a magnifying glass lying around, right? If you're into this coin hunt thing, maybe it's time to invest in one. Now, let's talk about how you can get your hands on a coin like this. Finding a 1996 nickel in your change isn't impossible, it's just rare. You've got a better chance of finding a unicorn riding a skateboard. But if you're serious about this stuff, or maybe just curious, you can start hunting online or checking out coin shops. I know it sounds a little crazy, but the world of rare coins is wild, and sometimes, it's all about patience, persistence, and a little bit of luck. You might even find one at a yard sale. I've heard some wild stories of people stumbling upon rare coins at garage sales, but that's a whole other video in itself. So, what have we learned today, folks? Well, we've learned that the 1996 Jefferson nickel might just be worth $1.7 million, and that might be enough to make you take a second look at every nickel you own. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about digging through your loose change, it's about knowing what to look for and how to spot a potential gold mine. But hey, let's be real, even if you don't find $1 million nickel, the journey is half the fun. It's like hunting for treasure, but instead of a map, you've got a magnifying glass and a smartphone. And who knows? Maybe the next rare coin you find will make your wallet a little fatter. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on valuable coins, strategies for building your collection, and a whole lot of fun along the way. If you've ever found a coin worth more than you thought, drop a comment below and share your story. I love hearing your treasure hunting experiences. Alright, let me ask you a quick question. What do you think your spare change is worth? Maybe a few cents here, a couple of dimes there, right? But hold on to your hat, because I'm about to introduce you to a coin that could have you sitting on a small fortune. If you've got a 2000 mint-marked Jefferson nickel in your pocket right now, I'm not saying it's going to buy you a yacht, but it could definitely make you think about a beachside vacation. Stick around, and let's talk about why this nickel could be worth, wait for it, a whopping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Let's dive in. So, what's the big deal with this little coin? You're probably thinking, a nickel? Worth that much? Is this a typo? Trust me, I wish it was. This coin is rare, and I mean really rare. Now, you might have seen a regular 2000 nickel, the one that's pretty common. You know, the kind you toss into your change jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that a certain version of this coin, one with just the right kind of error, has sold for $1.8 million at auction? Sounds crazy, right? Let me explain. See, most of these 2000 Jefferson nickels are, well, just your average everyday nickels. But in 2000, the US Mint released a batch that had a minor, but super important, mistake. The mistake was in the die, essentially, how the coin was stamped. Instead of the typical design, a small portion of the mint mark and lettering didn't line up properly. This subtle error turned an ordinary nickel into a rare collectible. Now, it's not like you're going to find this error on every 2000p nickel out there. Nope. It's a rare gem, one that collectors will pay top dollar for. Imagine finding one of these while you're sifting through your pocket change. That's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle is worth a fortune. But hold on a second, before you go raiding your change jar, here's the thing: you need to be really sure you've got the right coin. The error is pretty subtle, so it's not something you can just spot from across the room. You've got to look closely, maybe even with a magnifying glass. And if you find one? Congrats! You might just be holding onto your ticket to a small fortune. Let's break it down. The coin has to be in mint condition, and the error has to be clear. This means the coin needs to be as close to perfect as possible, no scratches, dents, or discoloration. The closer to perfect it is, the more valuable it becomes. Now, don't get too excited. Just because you find one doesn't automatically mean you're going to make millions. There's still a lot of research and, let's face it, a bit of luck involved. Cut to a humorous shot of a person checking their coin collection in a rush, holding up a magnifying glass to their eye with exaggerated intensity. Remember, finding a $1.8 million nickel isn't as easy as just flipping over every coin you find. I wish it were that simple. If it were, I'd probably be making this video from a private jet right now, but we gotta work for it. So, now that you know all about the 2000p Jefferson nickel, you're probably wondering, how do I get my hands on one of these bad boys? Well, keep your eyes peeled, and always be on the lookout for that rare error. Don't just toss the change aside, take a moment to inspect your coins. You never know, you could be holding a hidden gem. And hey, if you're into coins or just love the thrill of a good treasure hunt, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and strategies coming your way to help you find coins worth real money. Who knows? You could be the next person to stumble upon a $1.8 million nickel, and if you do, remember who told you about it. The host gives a wink, and the screen displays a subscribe button with text. Hit subscribe for more coin tips and tricks.